what would your advice be to young entrepreneurs?
Well, again, it depends a little bit on where they are and what it is that they want to do. But in a generic sense,
Yes.
I think that there's a massive advantage in knowing your outcome with a degree of flexibility. In other words, I think there was a time when you could know your outcome and be rigid about it and say, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go do it that way. And I think that this generation has to view that same thought about business. They have to have that same level of determination, but they have to be much more mobile and much quicker in their thinking about how they're going to get to their ultimate outcome. And I'll give you a good example. When I was a kid, let's say 18 or so, I remember the transition of vinyl records into DVD. I mean, I remember it happening because, funny enough, I was a big fan of the band Aerosmith, and they'd broken up, and they got back together, and they released a new album, and it came out on this weird shiny disc, and I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell? I watched that happen, and even at 18, I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, what about all the jobs?
Yes.
What about all the businesses? Even at 18, I thought about that. So every time I've gotten into business, I've always looked at that as the question of what's going to be the replacement of what we do right now, so that we can get into that. And you see, 20, 30 years ago, it would take 10 years for something like that to come along. Now it takes 6 months.